want, and nothing for ourselves.
This is video number 6 in the Feminism and Prostitution series. I'm aware that there's been a video response to this series, and I will get to it, but I don't want to get distracted and not finish this. There's actually a set kind of endpoint, so what I'm going to try and do is actually, finish off this series. It's probably about halfway through, and then once I've done that, I'll go back and address specific points and a kind of dialogue can open up, but I just wanted to get this done first. Another really common logical fallacy that's used against feminists is to paint feminist arguments as being academic. There have been so many times when I've been talking to people about these kind of issues and mentioning books and stuff that I've read on this subject, and it doesn't matter what you say, the person will respond with, yeah, well, have you actually spoken to any prostitutes? They usually do this with an air of superiority about them, like this question that they've asked evidences their greater affinity with prostituted women in the face of what they see as my rambling, out-of-touch academic attack on them. That I want to clarify, nothing that I've said so far, nor will I say, is an attack on prostituted women. And what this question, yeah, but have you actually spoken to any prostitutes, actually evidences is these people's own prejudices, because they've made the assumption that obviously the books that I'm reading haven't been written by prostituted women. You have to remember she's a job, not a person. And also that it's most certainly the case that no prostituted woman is also an academic. And another problem with this argument is that even if prostituted women hadn't contributed to the radical feminist movement, which they have, it wouldn't mean that the arguments were invalid. That kind of a strategy is called an ad hominem attack, and it's a logical fallacy. It's where you attack the person who's making the argument, not the argument itself. I've never read an article by a 12-year-old Indonesian Nike employee against sweatshop labor, but I'm pretty sure that the arguments that I have read against third world exploitation are still valid nonetheless. In addition, I've heard plenty of broke-as-fuck Americans make really impassioned arguments for why the Republican Party is the best party for working people in America. Just because you've got heart disease doesn't mean you're a heart surgeon. Yes, a heart surgeon will do better if they are open to listening to their patients, but this doesn't mean that they can't make a valid contribution to fixing a problem that they don't personally suffer. And for this reason, I'm not going to trot out the various statistics that get used by both sides about what prostituted women think. I'm not even going to go into that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my argument and you can assess it for its merits, not who supports it. What's the other thing that I wanted to say? Another quick thing is sex positive. Don't use that term. Sex positive is a completely bullshit propaganda word. This argument isn't about sex. There is no faction of people who are sex negative. We're talking about the prostitution industry, and if you can't distinguish between the prostitution industry and sex, then maybe this is why we're having the problem that we're having. I also disagree with the term sex worker. I use the term prostituted women and prostitute to incorporate everything that people would incorporate in the sex industry. I include pornography as a subcategory of prostitution. I include stripping and those kinds of sex industry stuff that isn't explicitly having sex with someone as prostitution. They are obviously separate, but I use prostitution as an umbrella term. Other people do this. As opposed to sex work. I think sex work, again, is similar in the propaganda aspect of trying to, define the language, and it's part of this trying to normalize prostitution, and I don't think prostitution is something that should be normalized and seen to be made acceptable. Not because I think prostituted women or prostitutes are bad, but because I think that the industry is bad. And I hate when people try to conflate those two things, because it's like, I'm making an argument against war and you're going, support the soldiers, and it's like, I didn't say anything about the fucking soldiers. The soldiers are fine. I'm talking about the industry, not the specific people that are within it. And similarly, I'm against the sex industry, not prostituted women. There's a difference.